Hey, what's up traders, welcome back to weekly forex analysis from 2nd to 6th of March 2020. Today we're going to be analyzing 5 currency pairs, and we're going to start off with US dollar against Japanese yen, British pounds against US dollar, euro against Australian dollar, followed by US dollar against Canadian dollar, and we're going to finish with New Zealand dollar against US dollar. Note that I'm uploading a weekly market analysis every single weekend. Also, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. I'm making daily as well as weekly market analysis, and there's going to be a lot more content to follow in the future. So without further ado, we're going to jump to the screen, and we're going to start with the US dollar against Japanese yen. And we're starting off with the monthly chart of the US dollar against Japanese yen. As we can see, the price came up to this monthly trend line, tested it, tried to break it, but then it failed, and it has this aggressive move towards downside. Look at this weekly candle. It had pretty much covered more than 300 pips in 1 week, which is quite a lot for this currency. And right now it's sitting at this area where these lows are. It took out these lows just marginally from about 15 to 20 pips, and then it retraced, had a little pullback, but I think it will follow through for next week. But for now, before it do it, I think it will have a little pullback. So whatever the stops were down here, stops or the take profits, it should have already sucked in, and now with the more fresh new trace from next week, and I think it will try to push it more down for, let's have a look at this zone, which it might retrace back up. I think it would be around 108.80 zone, around this here, because you got a lot of highs and mainly highs. There's not much lows here, but it's nice cluster of highs and open and closes. As we can see, it's quite a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got decent amounts of, you got these lows as well, so you got decent amounts of resistance. So I think if it goes up here, I will give it a shot, and then towards to the downside, and my target I will be looking at around these weekly lows, which is 106, around 106.80 zone. We got this low, you got this spike, what was that, you got this low, and there is another low. You probably can't see it now, but there is the low just down here. So you got multiple lows, so it's a good place to target as your take profit. So you'll be looking around 200 pips if you manage to get onto at 108.80, around that zone, with a relatively tight stop, depending if the market allows to do that. And up next is British pounds against US dollar, and we're starting off again with the monthly chart. So as we can see, the price, I'm gonna just recap for the last what happened in here. So price came up, took out these highs, also tested this monthly trend line, and then since then it's going down. If we have a look at the weekly chart, it's putting these candles, which I do not normally like, these undecided what's happening around it, like this inverted hammer, dojis, quite ugly candles, and you put this nice candle later, and then now as we can see, it came down and it took out this low, and then it's retracing slightly up, and it's closed. Look at the daily chart, closed the candle like this. For now, I'm obviously looking more bearish than bullish on this currency, but as of the taking a trade, I would wait for a bit and see what it's gonna do in the next few days, or the first half of the week, because I can't really see what the currency, but the only entries I see is if it comes up around here, which is 29, around 29.40 area, but then it will be a bit too much as of the candles, and also it depends on the intensity of the candles. So for now, I would recommend to wait until it's a bit more clear what the currency wants to do. Obviously it looks more bearish than bullish, but I don't see the potential yet. I just don't like the candles the way it's worked out, so we're gonna wait what's gonna happen in the first half of the next week. And the next currency is euro against Australian dollar, starting off with a monthly chart, and this currency is flying higher and higher. If we have a look at the weekly, this nice bullish candle, it just doesn't look like it wants to stop. And look at this daily chart, it's just going up and up. So if we have a look at the monthly, just start straight, what I would looking, it has to retrace quite a bit to get me interested, because it just basically for whole this week it just went one way with a very little retracement. For if you look at these daily candles, and yeah, it put this um, doji no, it's a spinning top, but it did not really look back, and it just started going higher and higher. So I'm currently looking, and I don't think it will happen anytime soon. I would say at least for the next couple of days. I'm looking this currency to retrace for about to this 67.80 zone, around this area. And the reason why we have this cluster of open and closes and highs and lows in here, if you can see this, these around this area you got a lot of open and closes and a lot of highs and lows, a lot of price action going on. And there is another high up here which you again can't see it. So I'm looking for this to retrace around that zone. So we'll be looking about 180 pips around that. But even though if it sounds a lot for this currency, it is not as much, because euro against Australian dollar can move a lot, which is one of the reasons why I like this currency. It moves a lot. And same with the British pounds against Japanese yen. They're kind of similar with the movements, and it covers a lot of ground. And one thing I want to mention in here, that I know that a lot of traders get this fear of missing out, and when they miss out they kind of beat themselves up that, oh, I should have taken this trade, and because it moved to my direction what I was thinking, and then basically projecting that, and it doesn't really help you. I want to mention this because I had that thought, but because I train my mindset and I immediately spot that and just get rid of that thought. I'm not sure if I mentioned one of the daily analysis, that I was looking at this price around this zone when it came down here about these lows, and I was waiting to get onto the long side in here, so around here. But I remember it didn't give me a setup, and then I just end up basically not taking a trade. But then as we can see this week, it just flied so much. So then, and I thought, it was like, oh well, if I would have taken this trade about the 6100 and hold it up to like, yes, 6900, that's like 800 900 pips. And then I immediately caught myself that, okay, that's not the right thought, and I just immediately get rid of that thought. But obviously if you are someone who's been started trading recently, yeah, you might have the problem with that. But just to say that it's you should not think that way. There is gonna be plenty of trades you're gonna miss. I miss a lot of trades, and sometimes I'm not in front of the screen, or just setup doesn't come in, or whatever that reason might be. But there is always a next trade. So I missed this amazing move, which could have potentially get me like nearly 1,000 pips, and that's a lot. But the things happen, not the first time and definitely not the last time, and it will happen to everyone. And you can't just get every single trade, no one can. And now US dollar against Canadian dollar, we're starting with a monthly chart. So price came up and basically tested these highs, and then now as we can see it's retracing. If we go to the shorter time frames, so on a week, it yeah, it is a nice candle it puts, and if we go to a shorter time frame, it's as a reaction on this monthly high, and it's retracing, as we can see on the daily chart. It put this candle inverted hammer. I don't particularly like when the price does that and closes like this, but I'm still looking to the long side as of another monthly high, which is up here around 13500, which is these highs, this highs here. And if we go to weekly charts, I'm more likely to get in around here. It's a nice zone, nice support around 13300. You get a lot of cluster in here. You got these highs, you got what was that? These highs, you got these highs, these lows. There's a multiple open and closes. There's a nice decent support on this weekly, so on the daily chart will be around these 3300, around basically where these highs are, around that zone, going to the long side and target this monthly high, which is around 13500. It gives a decent around 200 pip rewards, and if you have the risk relatively low, if depending how the market allows it, then you can get nice risk reward out of it. So that's where I'm waiting. And lastly, we got New Zealand dollar against US dollar, starting off with a monthly chart, and we have this nice trend line, and the price has been going down for the last several months. What I'm looking at right now, because price came down to this low and marginally took out this low, as we can see, this low margin took out. I think it will have a more retracement a bit up before it continues towards the downside. I think it will want to at least come down at these lows, potentially maybe even take out these lows before it turns around. So I'm looking to this currency to retrace. The question is where it will retrace. So far these zones looks good, about 6300, maybe a bit higher. Depends also the way the candle is gonna come out, the look of the candles. If it's gonna be if it's gonna turn around and come out like this, then, and with one candle that closes like this, then I would rather wait and see if it's going to continue higher. But at some point it will want to turn around and go lower. That's why I'm waiting. You can also come up to this monthly and weekly trend line, maybe test it or even break it, but for now it looks more downside. For as of the first potential for the entry, I will be looking to this around 6300 zone. Okay guys, this was it for today. This was a weekly forex analysis from 2nd to 6th of March 2020. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm making daily as well as weekly market analysis. Also, if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you guys in the next video.